Okay, hi everybody, welcome back to my video again, and this is going to be the part 2 of my video. Now if you've been watching very closely, we've already went through the first step of the video, and the last time we stopped was here on this specific section. So as I've said, we've discussed about the characters and the speakers. I'm not going to go through the step 1 again because I'd really prefer if you can watch part 1 first before stepping on to part 2. So in the comment section and in the description of this video, I've included the part 1 video of this lesson, like the link to it. So make sure you're checking that out first before you hop on to this video as well. And also don't forget to subscribe, click in the bell icon, and of course follow the ritual of commenting, clicking in the like button, and just let me know if you have any questions. So as I've said, it takes a lot of effort to create the slides, these videos, these study materials. So of course it'd be a great motivation if you could subscribe, please. Okay, so step 2. Last time we looked at step 1, which was generally the idea of reading the poem and understanding it. So for step 2 is the general idea of message. Now message is very related to the theme, which was the step of 1.4, but this is some sort of like an extended version. Okay, so the main message is technically the big ideas of a poem. Okay, so big ideas is generally what the overall poem is linked to. Usually it can be like observed through a series, it can be observed through a series of ways. Now, how can you observe the theme? A theme can be observed by the characters, by the speakers, the writing tone, style, method, the form plus structure, the rhyme plus rhythm. Okay, and there's lots of other ways that you can actually realize the theme. So this is something that is like very big, and it cannot be something that can be overlooked. So don't worry if you cannot find a theme, because it's something that's usually very easily observed in a poem. So usually a theme would be revolving around like some of the major aspects which I've mentioned here, which is the moral, the social aspect, the environmental, economical, political, historical, or even religious aspect. And also, that's why it's always a good idea to read the writer's background and understand the context of the poem, and also sort of understand the poetic techniques, the writing style, and all those things I've mentioned here at the top with my 3 arrows. So you've got to understand that sometimes a poetry can go beyond words. Now this is something a lot of the weaker students do not understand, because for example, let's say if a poem is about raindrops on the bus. Now it's not necessary that it's just talking about raindrops and bus. It can go something beyond that. It can talk about the beauty of nature, right? Because raindrops would usually give out rainbows. But of course, this is like a very abstract concept. You've got to read a specific poem. You've got to read the entire poem before making such assumptions, which is why you've got to understand the concept of the bigger idea. And of course, as I've said, this usually comes with time, so do not pressurize yourself in any sort of way. Also, I want to mention, for example, let's say if we are talking about a poem that is related to, let's say, animals in general, and it could be showing like, for example, you could read Bags of Meat by Thomas Hardy. Okay, I'll spell Thomas like in a more better way so you can read it. Okay, Thomas Hardy. So basically once you've read it, at I'd say like pause this video for about 5 to 10 minutes, depending on how much time you'd need to read the poem, and then hop on back to this video. So generally this poem is about how animals are being killed for the use of human beings, but they've never mentioned that, like, okay, animals are being killed for human beings. But what they've done is they've shown you quotes of the butchers and also the auctioneers. They've shown you like the emotions of the animals, how they feel when they're being like pushed into a place where they don't want to be in. So the theme would be generally how animals are being driven into a place without their consent, right? So if I wanted to put this in conceptualized words, I'd say human domination, or like animals being dominated by human beings. But I generally say human domination, or how animals have subordination, right? So like these are the two themes you can come up with, which is generally the same thing: subordination and also human dominance, right? So these are like the themes that you can generally come up with. And I really hope that this part 2 of my lesson really helped you to understand step 2 in a more comprehensive manner. If it did, of course, clicking the like button, because that'd be a great motivation for me. And it will make me understand what your needs are for like your literature examination, and help me prepare for your study materials accordingly. So make sure that you are subscribing and also clicking in the like button. If you have any questions, or if you want to purchase some of my study guides, feel free to email me on this specific email address, which is jashrutikaran.k@gmail.com. And then if you've got like any questions, you can always like send a message on my Instagram channel. And if you're interested, make sure that you're hopping on to part 3 to watch this lesson.